Hello, how's it going? Here's a quick review of the recent Metal to the Masses heat that took place at a venue near me. So Metal to the Masses is a nationwide competition searching for an independent underground band to play at the prestigious Bloodstock Festival. My band was lucky enough to win this competition back in 2012 when we had much more hair and very little fashion sense. So first of all, just want to say I'm sorry that there isn't a full recap of Heat 7. I had a previous engagement on the day of Heat 7, so I ended up arriving late, missing the first band, and I had to leave early, missing the last two bands. But here's a quick rundown of what I did see, and then we'll get on to what happened at the semi-finals. So the first band I managed to check out was Man Band, and it's not really my thing, but the band was very, very tight. The singer was really engaging. He got into the crowd and was singing. People seem to be enjoying it and having a good time, so a really good engaging band to start the evening off, in my opinion. So next up was Five Ash Kills. And Five Ash Kills were kind of like a 90s thrash band, in my opinion, of course. Not necessarily my thing, but the band were tight, they were having a good time. Kind of reminded me of 90s Machine Head. So if you like your 90s thrash, check them out. You probably really enjoy them. I didn't get any footage of Heavy Mass Driver, so I do apologise that they were not included here. I will try and do better for the next time that they play. So the next band I managed to catch was called Crossed Paths, and the name rang a bell and I couldn't really remember why, and then I realised I have one of their plectrums at home, and I have no idea where I got this plectrum from, but I have one. Anyway, again, really engaging. They had a cardboard cutout of Randy Savage on stage, so that's a good thing in my book. Bit of a crossover band, quite cool. They had a fill-in guitarist tonight, a guy called Nick King was playing. Good guy, really good guitarist. Band was really engaging, really enjoyed their set. So they were the only bands I managed to catch. The winners of Heat 7 were Heavy Mass Driver, Man Band and Cross Paths. So well done to the bands. Anyway, let's get on to the semi-finals. So for semi-final 1, there were 6 bands playing tonight. 5 of them were competing, with 2 going through to the grand final. The competing bands were Fenrir, Heavy Mass Driver, Soldiers of Rage, Solis and Unnatural Order, and Riff Dealer were the special guest band. So up first we had Solis, and I missed Solis the first time round because they played in the very first heat, which I couldn't make it to. So this was my first time seeing and hearing them, and yeah, very heavy, very chuggy, not necessarily my thing. I don't listen to lots of really heavy music, but the band were very tight. The sound was very good, really good at what they do. Put on a good show. Again, like all of these events, people seem to be digging it and having a good time. So what a way to start the evening. Super heavy. So up next were Heavy Mass Driver, and as the name suggests, they were very heavy. A little bit confused to begin with, because I was wondering where their guitarist is, and then realised they don't have a guitarist. They are bass and drums. The bass was like a stereo setup with a bass, so you had probably like a distorted sound coming through one amp and then the clean sound through the other, which is cool to see. Very sludgy, big sound, played really, really well. I loved the sound of the bass, the distorted bass. I thought it was really, really cool, and I was happy to actually finally check them out because I felt bad for missing them last time. So if you like your stuff slow and heavy, check them out. I think you really enjoy it. So up next we're called Fenrir, and I like this band. They're cool guys, and something a little bit different. Obviously it's the sort of Viking element to it, but really, really heavy. Some really nice melodies in the songs as well, which is something I really enjoy in music. So kind of nice haunting vocals at points, obviously very heavy as well. They played a new song which I think was called The Power of the Runes. I might be wrong, but I think that's what it was called, and it was really cool, really, really cool. So it was nice to see a band that had lots of different textures and lots of different sounds in their music, and for me that made them really stand out. So yeah, good stuff. They're always entertaining live. Really enjoyed their set. So up next was Soldiers of Rage, and I saw them at a previous seat, obviously. Again, really good. This kind of thrashy, metalcore-y kind of thing. Balls to the wall, everything was very fast and very, very heavy. They had a new guitarist, who I didn't catch his name, nor the other band that he was in, but apparently he learned their whole set whilst he was on tour with his other band, and had like 1 or 2 practices with him before this gig, and yeah, great guitarist, really, really good. Also cool to see some love for BC Rich. Sort of went out of fashion for a very, very long time, but now they're back, and yeah, it's cool to see some BC Rich, man. Don't see a lot of BC Riches on stage anymore, so that was cool to see. But yeah, they were very heavy, had their smoke going on, so obviously visually very appealing, very cool to watch. Band was very, very tight. All of the bands were really tight tonight, I should say. All of them sounded amazing, and the sound was really good in the venue, which is good because it made all of the bands a lot more enjoyable to watch and hear, because you could actually hear all the instruments. Everything was mixed really, really well. So props to the sound team tonight. But yeah, if you like your fast, thrashy, heavy stuff, check out Soldiers of Rage. I think it'll be right up your alley. And the last competing band tonight was Unnatural Order. Again, very heavy, very genty, low-tuned guitars, low-tuned bass. Once again, not necessarily my thing, but all of them were incredibly good at what they did. Guitarists were great, drummer was great, obviously vocals were that heavy, screamy stuff. So if you like your genty, heavy technical stuff, check them out. You probably really enjoy them. As normal, all of the band's Spotify links are in the description below. And just before we get to the results, there was one last band. This was the special guest band called Riff Dealer. This was Riff Dealer's debut performance, and they're kind of like a local supergroup. All of the members have played the New Blood stage at some point in their careers, with their respective bands, obviously. You've got members from all sorts of bands in there, and I like to think there's a tiny little bit of Stormborn in there, because Alex filled in on bass a couple of times, so I like to think Stormborn's part of the Riff Dealer heritage as well, but no, I'm kidding. But yeah, they were laying down some riffs. Vocalist was really cool. Nice, big, full, powerful voice, along with doing some kind of grittier, heavier stuff as well. Guitars sounded great. The bass was nice and heavy. Again, Rickenbacker, always a big fan of a Ricky, so always gets props if I see a Ricky on stage. So yeah, debut performance, very, very tight, and they do what they do very well. They've got a bunch more gigs lined up, so check them out. Yeah, if you like your riffy, groovy stuff with powerful vocals, it will probably be right up your alley. And the two bands that made it through to the grand final were Unnatural Order and Soldiers of Rage. All the bands were very tight tonight. They all sounded really, really good. So I can imagine this was probably a very close competition. So yeah, well done to the bands, and well done to you for making it to the end of this video. Anyway, take care. See you later. Bye-bye.